am I gonna do with my crazy hair? I could start by singing about it. Give me head with hair, long beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, stinging, flaxen, waxen. Give me diamonds there, hair, shoulder length or longer. Here, baby, there, mama, everywhere, daddy, daddy, hair, 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 hair. Glowing, show it, long it starts to grow my hair. I let it fly in the breeze and get caught in the trees. It's a home for the fleas in my hair. A home for fleas, a hive for bees, a nest for birds. There ain't no word for the beauty, the splendor, the wonder of my hair, hair. Hi, cat. Hair, 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 hair. Glowing. Someone called me. Show it, long it starts to grow my hair. I want it long, fuzzy, snaggy, shaggy, ratty, matty, oily, shine, gleaming, steaming, flaxen, waxen, spotted, polka dotted, twisted, beaded, braided, powdered, flowered, and confetti, spangled, bangled, tangled, and spaghetti. Who knows what show that's from? Take a wild guess. Oh, say, can you see my eyes? If you can, then my hair's too short. Down to here, down to there, down to there, down to where it stops by itself. They'll be gaga at the go-go when they see me in my toga made of long, clean physical hair. My hair like Jesus for it, hallelujah, I adore it. Hallelujah, Mary loves her son. Why don't my mother love me? Hair, 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 hair. Glow it, show it, long it starts to grow my hair. Gretchen knows. Yes, for all you long hair people out there. Yes, we love our hair. I've had long hair my whole life. Oh, thank you, hot cars. Welcome to today's beach report. So I didn't really want to be talking about hair, but here in South Florida, hear the beeping. The ducks hear me and they want me to play. No, they want me to give them food is what they want. Anyway, here I'm gonna try to do some. There's all these cool videos about stuff you can do with your hair. The messy bun is like the big thing in. You just kind of like fluff it up. I don't know, it looks kind of crazy, right? Yeah, the quackers are quacking. I don't even want to go look. I had the feeling someone's in the pool. And I'll go check, but maybe there's a reason why they keep going in the pool, like they don't want to live anymore. I don't know. That's pretty rude, Martin. Please leave. I ask you so ever so kindly. All right, Gretchen. Anyway, it's hard to get it to be like up and like this. I think I need some kind of a clip to push it upwards, but and let the nasty sounds begin. Here comes the garbage truck. Lovely, right? Thank you for keeping the chat safe from people who have no respect for other people. Just gonna put it that way. Okay, so you hear that? That's what this show is about. The nasty noises in our world. Hear how loud that is? My car isn't loud at all. You hear that noise? That's it. I'm looking at perfectly manicured lawns here, and they get that way with loud, obnoxious noises. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, what kind of an effect do these horrible noises have on our bodies? And not just us, but all of the animals around us. Thank you, Gretchen. Exactly. You are what you post. That's a good point. You know what? It's a great point, Gretchen, actually, is that when you go onto anyone's show, mine or anybody else, and you start posting stuff that tells us all about you, and it doesn't say anything about me. So, for instance, this Disha thinks that I'm scary, but that's because you are scared. And when you're scared of everything, you go through life defensive, maybe even angry. Do you feel angry, Deshaun? Are you afraid of me? Meanwhile, I mean you no harm. I come in peace, nanu nanu. No, but seriously, I do come in peace, and I'm sent here by God. I am scared of loud noises too, Ima, however you're saying that. Loud noises are scary. They are making us feel like we are fight or flight. Here, I found this article from a website called Folk Life, because there was a time when we humans didn't live with all of this noise pollution. And sometimes, right, Darla, Morgan, Mindy, Daso calm, yes, it's for your health. Why did you retract that, Darla, Morgan, Mindy? Thank you for the pretty roses. Yes, there should be more roses in the world and less leaf blowers. Now, something that I've noticed myself is that people who, first of all, it's bad enough that you think that you have to, that you have to have a machine do work for you that you could do yourself with no loud noises, like mowing your lawn. Hi, Josh. I know what you meant. Mowing your lawn with a very loud lawnmower doesn't just disrupt everyone around you, but the person most affected by the lawnmower is you. And there are bladed mowers that you just push, and they don't make any noise except for clip, 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 clip. And not only are you reducing the noise pollution for yourself and everybody around you, but also you're getting exercise. And I think that that is something that people fail to see, is that when you have exercise in your life, because you are maintaining your property, you're taking care of the environment around you, you want your lawn to look good, you have a garden to tend to, you do it without the electricity, without the gas-powered motor. Cutting grass is one of my all-time favorite things to do, I must admit. I love shoveling snow and cutting grass. Now, I have always used a lawnmower, a gas-powered lawnmower, because that's what we had and that's what I used. But now I wish that I had found, just a bladed mower, and that's what I would have used, because the loudness from a gas-powered lawnmower is actually, again, hurting you and hurting everyone around you. But I always loved cutting grass. Hi, Mac Daddy. Gretchen knows all about it. And Gretchen, how loud is your tractor? I always loved shoveling snow, because for me it was like especially when I had little kids. I know it's okay if you have a lot of land, and then I can see that, but I'm just saying that the loudness from the machines It affects you, it affects the animals, it affects everyone around us. Also, you don't get any exercise if you hire someone else to do it. I'm not saying that cutting the grass with a gas mower isn't exercise. It is definitely exercise, and it's definitely difficult to do. And I have spent many a sweaty, nasty day going back and forth, especially when my husband and I lived on a farm. So, and we had 5 acres, and keeping up was really hard, red eye. So I feel your pain. I've done it. But pushing a non-powered mower, yes, it's got to be a huge workout. And wearing, yes, you have to wear music headphones. I'm so sure, Gretchen. But at the same time, when you're doing something that is, you know, basically mindless, going back and forth, cutting the grass, even shoveling the snow, it is a great time to get lost in your own thoughts and get lost in the music that you're listening to. So I don't want to just complain about the noise pollution. I'm going to give you guys some things that you can do actively to reduce it in your own lives. Because like Red Eye just said, noise affects you a lot. And it's not only affecting you, it's affecting animals. And that's an issue that I don't know what to do about that, other than trying to get people to think twice before using that, especially the leaf blowers. My goodness, have you ever heard of anything so awful? So then I think about, what was it like in the past before all of this noise? And I came across this article from Folklife, which I will read to you right now. The conception of soundscapes stems from a deep love of history. Oh, this is, I don't want to read you actually what's said about this. Wait a minute. Recreating sound of the past in a way that was meaningful to modern listeners. Okay, so this is an article by an artist. That's not exactly what I was looking for. Hang on, I took more notes. Y'all are so loved and valuable. Everyone in this life has a purpose. So true, don't fret. And I'm glad that you said that too, because we are all one. We are living on this planet together. Hello, Betty, please, Betty, pick up. So glad to see you. Okay, I'm just gonna throw some facts at you and then we'll throw some solutions. Gas-powered leaf blowers are rated at a 95 to 105 decibels. Motorcycles are from 95 to 110 decibels, and this causes physical and psychological damage to both humans and animals. The decibel scale is logarithmic. A jump from a normal conversation is 60 decibels to a leaf blower at 100 decibels represents a 10,000-fold increase in sound intensity. And this triggers intense biological responses. Let's first of all talk about humans. The damage from high volume, low frequency noises ranges from immediate physical injury to long-term systemic health issues, such as permanent hearing loss. Any sound over 85 decibels can cause permanent hearing loss to the inner ear's sensory hair cells. They cannot grow back, by the way. At 100 decibels, like a full throttle leaf blower, hearing damage can start in as little as 15 minutes of unprotected exposure. Think about that. Then there's the cardiovascular stress. Loud spikes in noise triggers the body's fight or flight response, which spikes cortisol, your stress hormone, and raises your blood pressure, increases your heart rate. Chronic exposure to noise pollution is clinically linked to an increased risk of heart disease and stroke. Then there's cognitive disruption. These sounds cause severe physiological irritation, sleep deprivation, memory and concentration interference, and reduced academic performance in children. In and out, spent 6 years in a bar band. And that's loud, right? Did you wear any hearing protection? But actually, that's different because I'm talking about things that you have no control over, like a gas-powered leaf blower, which are particularly disruptive because their low frequency pitches, the pitch that's low frequency, easily penetrates walls. Think about that. Someone's using a leaf blower outside of the children's bedrooms, and the children are inside playing. The low frequency actually goes through the walls and affects the children. It's crazy. You know, you think that something you can't see doesn't exist, like God, right? But what about air? What about frequency? What about noise? What about light? What about dark? You have to think about all of it. Hi, Jeff Arnold. Yes, you should have worn protection. I remember being in 5th grade in middle school. No, I'm sorry, 6th grade, Carson Middle School. And they had our first dance. When we were big kids going to a dance, right? Setting me up for a lifelong love of dancing and music. But I do remember standing next to the great big speakers that they put up and feeling the whole vibration, the vibration in my whole body, and also having my ears hurt from how loud it was. And standing right next to them, I was aware that I was being damaged. It was clear. And I thought, how dare they do this to me? And I was pretty mad. Darla, kids' hearing is super strong. They can hear things that we can't because they haven't been fully damaged yet. They wait till about 6th grade to start that damage. Think of all the times that you have been next to a super loud stereo, the not just headphones, but I'm talking about the big, what's the word I'm looking for here? Speakers. Thank you, Lil Penny. Yeah, temporarily deafening. It's a rite of passage, right? It's not right. There's nothing good about that. Making sure that all the children go deaf or lose their hearing. Okay, we're not deaf, but we certainly can't hear like Darla just pointed out. We can't hear as well as children. Pull your hair back in a low ponytail, then pin up with the long hair clip. There we go. Yeah, Darla's hair is super short. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And then we have the animals. They are even more vulnerable to noise pollution than humans because their hearing is far more sensitive and they actually need it for survival. So it's terrible. I mean, okay, our cats and dogs maybe don't need their hearing for survival, but think about every time that I would wonder, is my dog's hearing impacted or is she just using selective hearing on me? Now they have headphones that put it directly into their eardrums. That's a good point, Lil Penny. Makes it even worse. But animals don't know where noise is coming from. So think about, we're talking about the, this is about domestic pets, dogs, cats, and livestock. Because animals cannot comprehend the source of the noise, a sudden motorcycle rev or a leaf blower, which will make me jump every time, creates a sense of immediate danger. This causes severe anxiety, shaking, hiding, or bolting. Also, your pets and livestock get disoriented. Their sense of direction gets messed up by loud noises. Like if a dog panics at a loud motorcycle, the sound echoing off of nearby walls can cause the dog to flee directly into traffic, or worse. Is there worse? Mac Daddy says American football is the most popular sport in American culture. Okay, that's loud too. Yeah, I don't care for sports personally, so we don't really talk about it that much. Other than I worry about sports as a conditioning for people, it goes all the way back to the Romans cheering on gladiators. It's like a crowd mentality, and I don't work like that. Air purifiers help to drown out loud noises with the other loud noise. Gretchen likes it though. You guys are welcome to talk about it. Happy Monday, Gracie. So good to see you, my friend. All right. Well, when it comes to the wild animals, nature relies on sound to survive. Loud human noises drown out vital environmental signals, which is called acoustic masking. Songbirds and frogs depend on acoustic clarity to attract their mates. To be heard over city traffic and yard work, some birds have been forced to change their pitch or sing exclusively at night. Thank you, Gracie. Thank you. Good afternoon, Uncle Andy. Frogs have had to raise their pitches, which makes them less attractive to females who prefer deeper, low-pitched calls. Predators like owls and bats rely on their hearing, and they have to hear the faintest rustle of leaves to catch a prey. So noise pollution effectively blinds them, leading to nutritional deprivation. And the prey animals fail to hear approaching dangers, and that makes them an easy target. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, that's a give and take right there. Oh, yes, always keep your filters clean. That's a situation. But think about the stress on the animals because of human noises, landscaping noises. Everything they have to hear are the cars, the traffic, the loud motorcycles. Researchers have actually documented that the mere sound of passing traffic causes monarch caterpillar stress levels to spike so severely that they begin biting. Biting what? Biting who? Themselves? Others? What the heck? That's crazy. Before internal combustion engines, electricity, and industrialization, the daily acoustic environment, often called the pre-industrial soundscape, was fundamentally different. It was not perfectly silent, but it possessed a clarity, localized texture, and natural rhythm that modern society has basically lost. Modern cities suffer from something called a lo-fi soundscape. Individual sounds are crowded out, overlapping into a dense, continuous wall of background hum, like HVAC systems, air conditioners, distant highway traffic, and building vibrations. Before engines, the world was hi-fi. Because the ambient background noise was incredibly low, the acoustic environment was sharp and clear. A person standing in a 19th century town could hear the distinct sound of a footstep, a dog barking, or a conversation from hundreds of feet away. There was no continuous low-frequency electrical drone. When a sound occurred, it had a clear beginning, middle, and end, followed by a return to baseline quiet. Life before engines was still incredibly lively, and cities were often described as boisterous, but the quality of the noise was completely different. Think about it, go back to a city street, think about New York City in the 18th century. You would hear the sounds of commerce, and that would be human voices. Street vendors, remember we always saw newspaper boys yelling, Wuxtree, Wuxtree, what was that all about? Extra, 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 read all about it. No, it was hi-fi, Arnell, not Wi-Fi. Think about that. Gretchen says it can get overwhelming sometimes in the house. The fridge hum, the AC, the fan, the TV all at once. It is annoying. My son's dog barks almost constantly. A friend told me he has a friend who is a dog whisperer. Thank goodness. And hi, Phil Goodyear. Yes, absolutely. Send some flowers to the mods. Oh, we appreciate the mods so very much. Yes, 5G. And what about data centers? Data centers have very loud hums that you can't really even hear because they're so low frequency. Red Hawk suggests ear protection like the headphone type used when shooting guns. Then you have them for other loud machines. But what do you do when you're just in public? You don't want to be wearing big headphones to protect your ears. And suddenly a motorcycle goes by, you know, the really loud pop, pop, pop that you're like, oh my God, you're not expecting it. It like that right there, even that honk. So unexpected. You think you're having a nice quiet day and suddenly they're blaring horns. Thank you, Arnell. I appreciate that. When I lived on the A1A, like right on the A1A in an apartment building for a while with my husband, the worst thing, oh, that was Arnell. Thank you, Arnell. The worst thing was when the motorcycles would go by. It was so annoying. And you'd be having a beautiful breakfast, you know, you're sitting on your little balcony, the A1A is in front of you. It should be a quiet Sunday, but it never is because of the traffic. Phil had Red Bull and cigarettes for breakfast. Ooh, you might be a little wired there, Phil. I just had coffee. Oh, I've drunk most of it. I might need to get more. I don't know how long I can do this show without getting some liquid sustenance. Hello, Papa Bear. Glad that you stopped by to give me a like. I appreciate that. And the rest of you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I totally agree, KJ. Donald Trump is the best president we have ever had. Please give a thumbs up if you also agree. And then we'll know who's who. Hi, Jeannie Junie. Everyday first responder sirens are ear-splitting. And that's by design because they want you to get out of the way. But what about when you're in your living room? You still have to hear it. So that is what I do on the Beach Report, those of you who are new. And I don't see a lot of new people this morning, which always makes me happy to see my dear friends who've been following me, some of you for more than 10 years. And anyway, it's so great to see you guys. But if you are new to the Beach Report, I am an actual journalist. I went to journalism school. I used to write for several large magazines and newspapers. However, today I do it all by myself and I do it all for you guys. Hello, Fabio. One of the things I like to do is to check out things that are going on in our world, kind of dissect it. And today I was doing my show earlier for my amazing members group. So all you members can go over there and watch that show, which was a crazy trauma dump in the beginning. Join the membership if you want to hear it. I was out of control. Anyway, good morning, Greg. Yes. You know what? Trump's ratings are 100% with me, so I don't really care what the rest of the world thinks or says they think or pretends to think. I know that everybody who has been watching President Trump for the past more than 10 years, actually 20 years, knows what kind of a man he is and that he does what says he's going to do. Promises made, promises kept. So I reserve all judgment because he's doing what he believes is the right thing to do. And I'm just going to have to trust in that. And also trust in God, because God is also making sure that everything happens the way that it's supposed to. Thank you, Phil, if you enjoy my nightclub lives, and you will love my Monday nights. And guess what tonight is? It's Monday. So we are going to have so much fun. But Greg, you're so wrong. I do know President Trump. I know him from his actions. I've listened to his speeches. I have friends who actually know him as a real person and have met him and have been in his presence. And I know people who have worked for him. I also know people who hate his guts. And I've weighed the two, and I come out believing that President Trump has given his entire life and his fortune to saving the United States of America. And for that, I will be forever grateful. He has exposed the deep state. He has exposed all the lies that I've noticed since even before the Clintons. And that's the reason I moved to Switzerland in 1990. Yes, that's right. I put my money where my mouth is. And when I didn't like the way things were going in this country, and the biggest thing that I noticed was about the food, that we are being poisoned. We've been poisoned since the 80s, and it only gets worse day after day. Actually, it's getting better now because of MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. You want to be great, you have to be healthy. And our entire society, and it was creeping into other countries too, has actually created a whole generation of chronically ill people. My grandmother was not chronically ill. My grandfather was not chronically ill, and they lived to be very old. But now people are not able to live that long. Well, Vincent, you don't know anything about me. And you know what, Betty? I was just talking to my members earlier. Feel free to let people like Vincent have their say. Actually, talking about a brain worm is kind of stupid. And, so maybe you're right. I'll let you go with that one. And Greg, I think it's about stopping vaccines that are made to kill people. Because I don't believe that COVID vaccine had any use other than to see who was stupid enough to take it. And I don't know if it is all designed to get rid of all of humanity who took it, but I do know that a lot of people who took it have never been the same. Not everybody, but not everybody got the bad stuff. So, okay, Gretchen. Yeah, nanobots. Well, Vincent, I actually think that you're beyond stupid if you can't see the truth for yourself. Did you love President Biden? Did you think he was great? How about our last Health and Human Services Secretary? That dude didn't even know if he was a man or a woman. So is that what you trusted? Is that the kind of science that you appreciated? Was a man, Dr. Richard Levine, who lived his entire life as a man with children and a wife and everything, and then suddenly decided that he thought it would be more fun to pretend he was a woman, and became our Health and Human Services Secretary. So if you want to talk about Robert Kennedy and say bad things about a man who looks like he works out super hard, he is not overweight. Richard Levine, however, looked like he was eating too many hamburgers or something. Richard Levine did not ever look like a healthy person. And then he showed us all that he was mentally unhealthy by wearing dresses and growing his hair long and pretending he had boobs. Dr. Richard Levine calling himself Rachel and expecting the whole world to go along with the illusion that he was a woman. Is that the Health and Human Services Secretary that you want? And then how about Dr. Richard Rachel Levine, also telling us all that our children should be looked at for this gender dysphoria, and maybe we should start treating them very young. Do you agree with that too? Because if you do, then I am not on the same page as you. So, just saying. Yeah, you want to talk about measles? They're worse now because the migrants. That's right, the migrants. Exactly, Ryan. Leave the kids alone. And I find that the Democrats seem to think that kids are fair game for a variety of abuses. The first being that you like to kill your kids, and you think that it's health care to commit abortion. And that's another thing that I really can't square with. Did you know that during the DNC, when they were trying to tell us that Kamala Harris was the best person to run our country, did you know that they had abortion clinics out front of their big DNC, where they all get together and pat each other on the back for being baby killers? Did you know they had those abortion clinics out front, and it was like a badge of honor to go have an abortion in front of the DNC convention? That's a fact. There's an obscene amount of vaccines for children these days. I don't have any of those. Neither do a lot of people. We are all fine, exactly. I haven't had a well, I did take the DTaP vaccine, which has diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, kind of under duress, but then I was, it was explained to me that a vaccine like the DTaP, which has been around for many generations. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you are not disrespectful, and I appreciate that compliment, so thank you. Nope, I'm not a doctor, not at all. So you guys can decide if you like what I'm saying or you can hate what I'm saying, because it's a free country. I think you should use bleach, Greg. You're just twisting words. Nobody ever said that you should inject bleach. And when you say things like that, then I know what kind of a TDS-affected Trump hater you actually are. So we're not going to be able to listen to anything you say because you're just actually focused on living your life through fear and anger rather than common sense. That's right. I am a journalist, and I'll say it again and again and again. I am not a doctor. I'm just an observer of people, of society, of media, and there we have it. The ever-loving lawnmower to ruin my show. Yeah, I am not actually a Florida native, Wesley. I was not born and raised in Florida. I'm from up north. I started my life in Denver, Colorado, which actually is one of the sunniest locations in the country, I understand. You know what, Greg? You're trying to judge me now, and that's not your job. That's God's job. So quit judging people, especially when you don't even know who they are. Just think about what you're doing. By judging me, you're actually telling us exactly who you are. It doesn't go the other way around. No one is sorry for not taking any shots, especially the COVID. Amen to that one. Yes, I have the Florida tan because I work on it, because I love the sun. I have thought my whole life that the fear of the sun that they tried to put in us, more and more nasty noises. Tell me if it really bothers you and I'll go inside. But that's what my show is about. And we do all judge people, but we also have to think about how we judge people, when we judge people, and why we judge people. I just explained to you why you are so fearful and full of hatred. So you can tell us that you don't hate Trump, and that's fine. I believe you. But I do think that you are unfairly judging him, just as you are unfairly judging me. What was that? Papa Bear is always, don't ever hide Papa Bear's. Papa Bear can say his stuff because he's not talking to me. Anyway, I absolutely did not vote for Biden. Did you, Oz the Frog? No, actually we couldn't vote for Biden. Remember, he dropped out. Like, this is getting ridiculous now. Do you hear of all this nasty noise? It's bad. Good, Oz the Frog. Then you are amongst your tribe. Goodbye, Greg. See you later. Yeah, it's not about war. It's about keeping the country safe from maniacs. But you wouldn't understand that because you're full of fear and hate. That's all. And I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you what it looks like to me. Bye. All right, you guys, it's just ridiculous. 1 minute we had silence. We had just the noises of the breeze. And now we have this. Thank you, Papa Bear. No, he never said anything about drinking or injecting bleach. And that's true, Gretchen. It is a military engagement, not a war. I know who you're talking to, Papa Bear. That's why I'm telling my mods to stay away from you. Oh, and please, make comments after the show so that I know who's who, and I can mark you as somebody who is approved, and you'll never be silenced again. Hey Tom, do you know how to spell liar? You spelled Lear. L-Y-R-E is actually a musical instrument. So there's your credibility. Bye-bye. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, this horrible noise tells me that it's time to end my show because it's too loud. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to sign off for now. I think I see a weed whacker, a lawnmower, and a leaf blower all at the same time. Yeah, Tom went to the Leering Center. Yeah, Congress has not approved the war since World War II. These people are completely ignorant and do not know their history. Well, that's true. All right, you guys. Have a blessed day. We'll see you on the next beach report. Hopefully we'll have the sound of the waves or the sound of music and not the sound of lawn care by illegal aliens. Just saying. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna wear my black judging robe. I have one. All right, you guys. Ciao.